everybody, welcome back to Chelsea Bakes. Happy New Year 2019. Today, to celebrate the new year, we're going to infuse some champagne into our cookies. This is a great treat to take to New Year's Eve parties, and it's really delicious. It has some nice pink champagne infused into the icing. And the recipe for the cookie is relatively easy, so it's not that hard. So let's get started. You're actually, instead of using a homemade cookie recipe, since the focus of this recipe is on the icing, you can just use a pre-mixed Betty Crocker sugar mix for sugar cookies. So that calls for a stick of butter for drop cookies, the mixture, and 1 egg. You can always use the homemade sugar cookie recipe that we have on the blog, but you know, the holidays are a busy time, so sometimes it's just easier to use a pre-mixed bag. So once you have your cookie dough ready, then you're going to want to form about 1-inch cookie dough drop balls and put them in a mini muffin baking tin. So you can use a 1-inch cookie scooper. This is really helpful. So once you have your cookie dough balls ready to go in your mini muffin pan, you're going to want to put them in your oven, which is already preheated to 350 degrees Fahrenheit, and you want to bake them for 12 to 15 minutes. Probably more towards the 15-minute mark because they are dough balls and in the mini muffin tin as opposed to regular cookies. So while the cookies are baking, now we're going to make the champagne infused buttercream frosting. This is actually a twist on the buttercream frosting that I use on my sugar cookies. So you're gonna wanna use a half a stick of butter and then a half a cup of Crisco. And that's the shortening. So half a cup of the Crisco. Then you're going to want to add, well, first we'll cream these. So cream together the butter and the shortening. I usually cream them on a medium-high speed. Make sure it's a smooth consistency. So once we have a creamy consistency, you're gonna add half of a 2-pound bag of powdered sugar or a pound of powdered sugar if you have a scale to measure. And then the most important ingredient is 1/4 a cup of the pink champagne. So you're gonna add the champagne. You might even want to add a little bit more because if it bubbles, that carbonation takes up some of the cup. And then 2 drops of pink food coloring. You can always add more if you want the color to be deeper, but we'll try 2 for now. And if that isn't enough champagne, you can always add a little bit more if you don't want the champagne taste to be so strong, as I don't like. I'm going to add probably 2 tablespoons of milk as well. So we'll try 2 tablespoons for now. Again, you might want to add a little bit more, a little bit less, depending on how much powdered sugar you were using. You want to mix this until soft peaks form and you have a creamy consistency. So our champagne buttercream is done, and now we just have to wait for the cookies. So while the cookies are still warm, you'll want to get like a 1/2 teaspoon and just push down the centers of them. And this will be so you can decorate them. And while the cookies are cooling, then we're going to put our icing into the piping bag. And I like to use a small star tip. Bring all that icing up to the tip of the decorating bag. We'll wait for those cookies to cool and then we'll decorate. So now in the centers of your little sugar cookie cups, you're gonna want to fill the cups up with the champagne icing. Just go in a circle. And then you can decorate them with some sugar glitter sprinkles. So we'll just pour a little bit of silver on there. So the cookies themselves are really easy. The icing, it's easy. It's based off of, again, the original buttercream cookie recipe, sugar cookie icing recipe that I have, but this one infuses the champagne and doesn't use as much milk, and it doesn't use vanilla extract. So those are the main differences. So there you go. You have your champagne toast cookies. Thank you everybody for tuning into Chelsea Bakes, and Happy New Year.